All right, you ready? I got quite a few. Where's Jimmy?
I saw someone was wearing a shirt in the stands.
Yeah, he's in the Discord, that guy. Well, I'm assuming it's that guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I actually wanted to go. Dude, I'm still sick.
You ready?
Yeah. Still struggling.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. We are your hosts, Tyler and
Jimmy Miller.
both of us. We were supposed to do an episode last week, and the day of, Jimmy sends me a text saying, hey, I'm super sick, and coincidentally enough, I was extremely sick as well. And so that is why we did not have an episode last week.
We missed you.
Both of us are recovering. Jimmy claims that he is still a little bit sick.
Don't I sound so that my voice isn't back yet?
I was so sick.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think I had neurovirus or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I thought I was dying.
Like, I feel like I have a very high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
And this brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
I was out of it.
But, dude, I heard at the Diddy White party, a.k.a. the Masters, that everybody else was sick too.
There were quite a few people who were sick.
I mean, Hayden was sick. I know Jackie Glassman, you.
Yeah, Connor Garnett.
Connor Garnett got sick.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Anyways, we are alive. Never have I been more grateful for health and being able to compete and play pickleball and live a somewhat normal life.
Just a reminder, we got to get those holy greens in us.
Exactly. Shout out Holey. All right.
Sour apple, delicious.
So yeah, we have a lot to uncover this time. Hopefully we can make it through and in a timely manner. But first, we got to give a big shout out to our title sponsor of the 2025 King of the Court podcast, which is the Picklr. We love the Picklr. Who is the Picklr and why do we love them so much, Jimmy?
Yeah, so obviously we've talked about the Picklr a lot. They're the number one indoor facility. What's fun is like you're seeing people now talk about the Picklr all over the place. Like, hey, like Ryan Sherry actually was like, hey, I stopped by the Picklr in Florida all the time. Or there was a video the other day that the Kawamotos were playing at the Picklr in Indy.
Yeah.
Right? And the video was like, they loved it so much, they came back the next day.
Yeah.
And so like they're starting to pop up everywhere. When it started, obviously the footprint was just here in Utah. Mm-hmm. And, with 500 plus commitments to locations at this point and 65 leases signed, I mean, they are blowing up. The other thing is the best part about the Picklr, other clubs, not saying that all other clubs don't do this, but the clubs that I have belonged to in the past, the Picklr has an unlimited membership option.
So they have a price, and with that price, you're able to go as many times as you want, which is incredible because so many other clubs or facilities out there, they have these weird pricing tiers. Yeah. However you want to call it.
Yeah, they have like a diamond and a gold and a silver, whatever.
Yeah, they just have different stuff, and it gets confusing. With the Picklr, it's one fee, it's one price, and you can use it as much as you want. So if you're a diehard addict, get it, and you can use it a lot.
But the other amazing thing about it is that includes clinics, that includes tournaments. Mm-hmm. You're not paying for additional court rentals.
Yeah, so it's all baked into the cake.
All baked into one. Where other ones, it's like, okay, well, I pay this, but now I got to pay per hour on the court. Now I got to pay to enter this tournament. Yeah. Now I got to pay to attend this clinic. Now I got to pay for a Snickers. I think you probably still have to.
You probably still have to pay for Snickers.
Yeah, that's true. But I just put it on George's account.
Yeah.
Anyway, so unlimited membership. I mean, it's sick. So you sign up and it's all inclusive. Yeah. It's like going to Mexico and you got that all inclusive.
You love those all inclusive resorts.
And that has
don't
nothing
you?
to do with Jorge Barragan.
Yeah.
It's just we love those all inclusives.
All right, go check them out at thepicklr.com. If you're interested in franchising and owning your own business, tell them that the guys at KOTC sent you. You can also use our code KOTC when signing up for a Picklr membership. Yeah. All right, also we have Pickleball Central. They are the number one online retailer for all things pickleball, paddles, bags, balls, whatever it is pickleball related, they will have it. And we have a code 012. Wait, what is it? KOTC
0125.
Exactly. KOTC 0125 for this year. It will get you for this month. It will get you the best price out there.
Yes, it is the best. There's a lot of new paddles dropping. We'll talk about that a little bit. We got the Proton Flamingo. We got the new Franklin that Big H was hitting freaking nukes with.
Yep.
The double pickle Franklin. Should we call it that?
Something like that. Yeah, that's got a okay ring to it.
Yeah. Anyways, point is go check them out. Use our code. Amazing. It is. We can guarantee you it is the largest Pickleball Central discount
Available.
All
right, Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy was actually supposed to be out there in California, as he is at many of the tournaments. But this one, he was supposed to be there, but last minute mishap, and he was not out there, shockingly. And I had quite a few people. Hey, Tyler,
like good reason.
Where's Jimmy? And so, of course, that question never gets old. Anyways. We have so much to cover.
Yeah. So one thing real quick, because we didn't do an episode last week. We interviewed Samin. I just want to touch on like my take on this PPA thing really fast, this bridge loan thing.
The bridge loan.
Yeah. So I just have a little bit of I'm torn on this, Tyler, and I've been thinking about this a lot, okay?
Do you not know what a bridge loan is?
I do know what a bridge loan is. I'm very aware. I've actually done bridge loans in the past. But this is where I'm torn. We are pro player. You are a professional player, right? I'm pro player. I'm always going to be pro player. I'm not a big pickle guy, contrary to popular belief. You know, I want the players to get paid. Your longevity in any sport, it doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, basketball, whatever, is short. Your prime, your lifespan, there's always new, younger players coming in, so get paid while you can. So when the players finally got paid a significant amount, I was happy for them. I was pumped. But immediately when you saw that, you knew that was going to create financial difficulty for the PPA and for MLP. I don't think that was a secret, right? Am I dumb? I think everybody that saw that happen knew it was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy to say that, right?
You're crazy, but not for saying that.
Okay. So my point is, if you knew that was going to happen and you have someone like Jill, which, by the way, it's Jill's prerogative. She can say whatever she wants about this bridge loan other than calling it an emergency and some of the other words she used. But it's her prerogative to report it. I don't have any issue with that. Let her report it. Let her do her thing. My problem with it is Jill started a coalition, a pro player collective. Sorry. And this was
years ago.
Last year.
Yeah.
She was trying to get certain things for the players. One of those things was there was rumors of a merger and that the players' salaries would end up essentially getting cut.
Yeah.
And then they were also trying to stop the merger. And there was a lot of things that they were doing. So my issue with this is Jill got paid. Jill took a buyout. So she essentially got paid 6 figures for literally doing nothing. Like for being in the right place at the right time and never played an event under that contract. Not a single event. So they're like, hey, the rumors is the buyouts were around 30% of the contract value. So 1 year's worth in essence. So she took a buyout. She took money. She's part of that problem with the P&L. Right?
Yeah.
But was Jill going to turn that down for the betterment of pro pickleball? Because maybe they wouldn't have enough money? Of course not. And you wouldn't ask her to. And you wouldn't ask any of these players to turn that money down. But that means when those contracts are due, which a lot of them are very, very heavily front-loaded in January, you can't rip on PPA's finances. And look, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that if you dug really deep, there's some frivolous spending. There's some things they could have done different. There's some mistakes that were made. I'm not saying there's not. But you can't rip on PPA's financial situation when you're part of the issue and it's because players got paid.
Yeah.
That's the number one expense on that P&L by a long ways, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Is player contracts. And so if you believe that players should get paid, you also can't be there and rip on them and say all these negative things about their financial situation. Because that's why they're in a bad financial situation. Now, what could they have done instead of getting a $10 million bridge loan? Gone to all the players and renegotiated their contracts down 50%?
Yeah.
That's probably an option.
Yeah.
But instead, they went out and got more money. So that's why I'm so confused about it. And like I said, this isn't a pro PPA thing. It's a pro player thing.
Yeah.
And if you want the players to get paid, you can't. I mean, you can because people will, but you have to understand where the highest expense comes from.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things about the collective that we kind of laughed about, me and a couple of the owners, was like, we didn't laugh about it, but we talked about it, was NBA, NFL, all those, they have collective bargaining agreements. Mm-hmm. And they have a pro players association. That pro players association negotiates a percentage of revenue from the entire league, and the players get a percentage. So like the NFL, it's like 53% owners, 47% players. NBA, it's like 50-50, right? Yeah. If they were to have a actual players association and they would go negotiate, the players would get zero, right? Because it's a league that's losing money. That's why the WNBA, I know that PPA was kind of bragging about the WNBA and how their players make more money, but the players make so little money in the WNBA because it's losing money. It lost $40 million last year.
Yeah.
So again, the WNBA gives you a great structure on where actual salaries for PPA players should be. And the average on that is between $80,000 and $120,000 a year.
Yeah. Based
off of the profits of the league. And so again, if you're going to rip on those things, then you got to give back some money. And none of us want to do that. None of us want to see the players do that. So the PPA's got to take these steps to, make sure that the league stays running and the players keep getting paid.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry,
you mentioned it, but had the players not had these inflated salaries, contracts, they'd be positive right now. They were positive before this.
Yeah, exactly. So. And so that's where I have an issue. The other thing is, just real quick, Jim Kloss.
Your boy.
He was wrong. He keeps saying that MLP and PPA wasn't a true merger. I was told that Connor Pardo set him straight on that. It is a true merger. They share a bank account. Quit spreading false information, Jim. You're not accurate on that. You keep telling people. For some reason, people listen to you. They probably don't have very many friends, but they do listen to you. And so report accurate information.
Yeah.
Not that I'm the best at that, just being clear. But on something like that, quit pounding that drum over and over again when you're wrong about it.
Yeah, I think with the Jilly thing, it got a lot of attention for the first few days because a couple large media organizations picked it up. But I feel like after that, it kind of lost a lot of steam. So
yeah, for sure. So anyway, that's just kind of my take on that. Like I said, I will always be pro player. And with that comes, the league has got to find a way to raise money.
Okay. 2025, first, well, technically it's not. It's the first tournament in 2025. However, Daytona counted the points counted towards 2025, which correct. I totally spaced that. Anyways, we were back in Palm Springs, beautiful Palm Springs, California.
Palm Springs, honestly, is incredible. Speaking of Jilly B, I see why she lives there. Lots of old people.
Yeah.
But no, really, it's incredible. It's beautiful. Alwait's great weather. The only thing
minus the great weather, the first few days were extremely windy.
Windy, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I hate about Palm Springs is it's tricky. It fools you.
Why? It gets dark at 4 p.m.?
One, it gets dark at 4. Two, it's 70 degrees. And then literally the second it gets dark,
it cold.
Is frigid.
Yeah.
It's like we're back in Utah.
Yeah.
It gets so freaking cold when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Insanely cold. That desert, whatever happens there, I don't know, but it is freezing.
All right, so there are so many storylines. Do you want to bounce around or just kind of focus on each category, each event?
Let's just go through each event and there's a storyline we can grab from each event, to be completely honest with you. One thing I think we should touch on before we start.
How many shades of white are there, by the way?
Oh my gosh, there's a million if you're Ben Johns.
50 shades of white.
50 shades of white. Like I said, it looked like a Diddy party and everybody's having a great time.
There were a lot of players that got fined for not wearing all white.
J-Dub's pants.
Those have got to go.
What's happening with those?
Those have got to go.
I mean, also, Paris Todd. Love Paris Todd. I think she's very sweet, extremely nice person, funny, great player.
But what?
But if you're going to win Best Dressed, You can't wear white shoes? White shoes are the easiest thing to find. She's wearing like turquoise.
Sometimes it goes.
It's all white for a reason.
Except for the shoes.
Find them. Like it's like the Jordan bands. Find them. Anyways, so let's start with, real quick, Selkirk.
Okay, yes, another
so
thing. Yep.
One thing I think we need to talk about, Selkirk required all their players to use 008s. They told their players, I guess, in an email that this is the only paddle we have available. Sorry, you guys have to use these, even though there's, they have 30 different types of paddles. And then PPA fired back with an email to Selkirk players, and they said, we just want you to be aware, this is not our decision for you guys to only use the 008s. Selkirk actually submitted 20 plus paddles, and they were all approved. And so you guys actually are free to use whatever paddle you want. But Selkirk required their players to use 008s, which is crazy because, none of the players use 008s regularly. So that's a weird paddle that they chose. I don't know if they're proving a point, what they're doing. I'll tell you this, Selkirk players from the low-level pros that are just getting gear to their top pros were pissed.
Yeah.
And I think it affected their games. With that being said, we'll kind of talk about that because there's more drama to that as we go on. So what do you want to start with?
Let's do men's singles.
Okay, men's singles.
So once again, this is a progressive draw.
Yeah.
And they had the qualifiers on Monday.
Yeah.
And then the main tournament, the round of 64, started on Tuesday.
Yeah, so men's singles, I think that there's some interesting, look, it's loaded, right? Like men's singles right now is absolutely stacked. There was a little bit of difficulty. You've mentioned there's a lot of wind.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were windy.
Yeah.
Were very windy. We're talking 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts.
Well, they delayed some courts. What's interesting is the championship court was surrounded a little bit.
So. It was built down a little bit, so it's a little bit sheltered.
But we had some crazy results, dude. Donald Young, Grayson Golden mentioned how he's the 22nd player in the world and he had to play qualies. He loses first round to Donald Young 1-0. Jack Sock had to face...
I can't believe he lost I would never do that.
Never. Can you imagine? Imagine if he lost 0-0.
That would be embarrassing.
That would be so embarrassing.
That's bad.
That would be awful.
Oh my God.
Jack Sock had actually a really good run. He ended up beating his buddy, Eric Roddy. He beats Dylan Frazier. And then he goes and ends up losing the Conor Garnett. Maybe the match of singles was Julian Arnold and Quang. A lot of chirping.
Yes. Yes.
Quang was using an 008 for a minute.
There was a little bit of backstory that I wasn't aware of while I was watching it, but apparently Quang was set up to play with Lauren, who is Julian's girlfriend. And according to him, Julian, Quang dropped her at the last minute and did not even let her know.
Never told her. She found out, the way it sounded was she found out by seeing him signed up for a tournament with somebody else.
Yeah.
So he didn't really communicate that with her.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why Julian's upset about that.
Language barrier?
I think that at some point you can't use that anymore. I think that's a little uncouth.
So what was the excuse?
He probably got a better partner.
Okay.
And he's 18 years old. That's probably a hard phone call to make, to call a 30-plus-year-old woman and be like, hey,
Are you calling them old?
No, I'm just saying that,
because he kept referencing his age in that match.
Yeah, he said he was twice as old as him. I'm just saying that she is older than him.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more intimidating to talk to.
So that match was wild. I was watching it, and I think you could see some of the stuff through the live stream, but there was so much more that was going on in between the points.
Yeah, they're going at it. Yeah. Quang, funny thing too is that when we talked about this, Quang has switched paddles a few different times. So he was using an 008, switched to the Proton.
Yep.
And then there was a rumor, Jim Kloss, who was unfortunately, as usual, inaccurate. But Jim Kloss said that Quang was actually served papers on the court. And they said that Selkirk was suing him. That did not happen. Selkirk released a statement saying that didn't happen, but that Quang, this is kind of funny to me, but I get where Selkirk's coming from here. That Quang was auctioning off prototypes to the general public.
Why not?
And when he would go overseas, he'd use different paddles. He did an entire exhibition wearing head-to-toe Proton gear.
Okay, we don't need to get too much into it, but assuming Quang is under contract with Selkirk,
He is till April, according to Selkirk.
that's got to be a clear breach of contract, right?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, I don't know. Is it like I got hoes in different area codes? Like Quang gets out of the United States and it doesn't count? I don't know, dude.
It's got to be.
Like, it was wild. And so, I mean,
But I think they believe that they're still in the clear.
one thing I do need to say, Charles Darling, our guy at Proton,
He loves this.
he must be making a hell of a paddle for Quang to breach his contract with Selkirk and want to use it. Charles, how do I get a flamingo, bud? Because that must be an insane paddle that you got a dude willing to risk his contract
Mid-match
to use it. So shout out to Proton. They're doing something right.
Oh, my gosh.
So yeah, I mean, Julian ends up winning that match. Talked chirped a little bit. Check out our Instagram page, more King of the Court. And then he plays Noe, who is incredible singles player as well. And Julian beats him.
Yeah.
I mean, Julian had a good run.
Yeah.
Other side, you had Jaume beat Michael Lloyd 9-9.
Yeah.
And then he was just too much for Julian in the semis. In the quarters.
I heard Jaume was just on fire.
Dude.
Like, was not missing.
Dude, he had a great entire tournament.
Yeah.
But here's the craziest thing, dude. The quarters were probably one of the
For singles?
for just the whole day.
Uh-huh.
The quarters was probably one of the least interesting matches or days of pickleball I've ever seen.
Uh-huh.
In general, it was everything was quick. People were just getting smashed. The only match that really had any, excitement to it was Gabe Joseph and Tyson was 11-9, 13-11, 14-12.
Yeah.
Everything else was, I mean, look at this, dude. This is just men's singles.
Yeah.
And I'm talking across all disciplines. Fed and Christian, 11-2, 11-1. Connor Garnett, 11-2, 11-8. Jaume, 11-1, 11-2. Everything was like that the whole day.
Yeah.
And then the next day, the semis, was the exact opposite. Might have been the most exciting day in pickleball history.
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy about it. So, anyways, Fed, Jaume in the finals. I watched it an hour and a half ago, and Fed was just too good.
Yeah.
Jaume is everywhere, but Fed.
This was Fed's final tournament as a YOLO player.
Yeah, so Fed, as we've been talking about for months, is headed to Adidas.
Yes.
I believe that'll be announced tomorrow, so it'll probably already be announced by the time this comes out. But it's Adidas Pickleball. It's actually a private label of Adidas. So
also, Mari is going to Adidas
Mari
as well.
Humberg headed to Adidas, and then obviously they have Rafa already. So round them up. He's rounding up Fed and Mari.
Yeah.
And our boy, one of the hype guys, is actually the head of marketing.
Dragon
Canton.
Yeah.
Is the head of marketing of Adidas now. So dude's making big moves. Props to him.
Quick question.
Does Adidas make pink shirts?
Will Fed still be as dominant,
Yeah.
you think, with the Adidas paddle?
I mean, I think that the YOLO helps him, but I mean, in July, that's not going to exist anyways, right?
Yeah, but that's another 5 months.
That's true. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, but I know Adidas has a new paddle out. Did you hear, by the way, that Rafa's got stolen?
Yeah, I was there when Will was literally typing up the story, and Rafa was just being Rafa. It may have gotten stolen, but he left it at the facility.
Oh, he did?
He left it at the facility.
So he left and then came back and it was gone.
Exactly.
All of a sudden it got stolen.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, yeah.
But he wanted to make it sound like it got stolen, which maybe it did.
I mean, it technically did because somebody took what wasn't theirs, but it's different than someone going through his bag.
Exactly.
Pulling it out, than him leaving it.
Exactly.
So yeah. Also, Fed could be on SportsCenter top 10.
Hey, did you see my not top 10? My overhead whiff?
Yeah,
that was epic.
Yeah, that was that wind. Insane wind. Did you see Jeannie's too?
I didn't.
Jeannie did the exact same thing, but she's a little bit more athletic.
Excuse me?
She was still able to hit it.
I doubt that.
She whiffed and then reached back behind her and hit it. But dude, Fed had you know how Ignatowicz hit those backhand? He had an ATP like that.
Nice. Those are awesome.
Insane. So, anyways, shout out Fed. Jaume with the silver. Tyson beats Connor Garnett in 3 for the bronze.
Tyson is on a roll in singles.
Dude, you played him?
I did. He cleaned me. Yeah.
Okay, a couple things about Tyson. Mm-hmm. He looks slimmer.
Okay.
I felt like maybe a year and a half ago or so, he was getting pretty thick. Like, in terms of like...
Hey, I think me and him are on good terms, so be careful what you're about to say.
He said the beef was over.
Yeah. Well, he texted me and Connor after our doubles match, too.
No. What I mean is he was getting thick, like muscular.
Okay.
Right? And I think that he's looking slimmer now, and I think it's helped him. I think it's helped his speed. It's helped his... I mean... He's fat, he's faster, he's athletic, and he's not like, I bet it's better on his body.
Yeah.
Lord knows I would be freaking feeling a lot better if I dropped some LBs, right?
You'd be a 5.0?
I'd be a 4. I'm a 5.1.
You'd be a 5.5?
With Duper going up to an 8, that's probably accurate.
All right. Yeah. Men's singles is insane. I love it. I love the competition.
Dude, you win men's singles. It's all hard.
Yeah.
Also, shout out our guy, Gabe Joseph. No sock.
No sock, Gabe Joseph.
Sock.
Yeah.
No show, Gabe.
He beat Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, Hunter finished, if you look at like how they do the brackets, he finished 15th. Mm-hmm. Dylan finished 16th. Like, that's crazy.
Women's singles.
Women's singles. So, it went how you would expect, other than I felt like maybe Kate Fahey was making her way to the clear-cut number 2.
The only issue is she played
Annalee.
In the quarters, yeah.
In the quarters. She was all the way up to 6th seed. I mean, when she won Salt Lake last year, she was like a 40-something, wasn't she?
I mean, she'll get there eventually. It's just
but she had to play Annalee. Let me just, this will sum up women's singles, okay? Sarah Dennehy, Annalee 3-2. Liz Trueluck, 2-4. Kate Fahey, 3-1. Paris Todd, 4-1. Caitlin Christian, 0-6.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Put her in the singles draw. Come on.
In the men's?
In the men's, yeah.
I don't know if it gets more dominant than that, Tyler.
Yeah.
11, 15. Man, I'm good at math. 21, 26 total points.
It's impressive.
In 5 games.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is insane. Caitlin Christian upset Catherine Parento. I would say that I don't know if it's quite an upset anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
by seeding. It is.
Okay. Yeah, but the seeding is random.
I agree. Also, Paris. I think Paris really plays Leia tough. Mm-hmm. She seems to have obviously Leia is a great singles player, but Paris has really played her tough.
Okay.
And so Paris gets the win over Leia, and then our girl, your girl. A year ago, you played with her in her first tournament.
Jeannie B.
Jeannie B beats Hannah Blatt and then beats Brooke Buckner.
Yeah.
And then she lost to Caitlin Christian. But Jeannie B looked really good this weekend.
I think the most improvement she's made is in her singles game. Her singles game is that of a top 10 player at the moment.
I think so, too. She made a comment that I really liked. She said when she got down to Brooke, because she lost game 1 11-2. Mm-hmm. And it was super windy. And she said that she decided to go out there and be athletic and be an athlete.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. And
pickleball is not athletic at all. So as long as you're an athlete, you can overcome that.
I think what she meant by that was go run down some freaking balls.
Yeah.
You're good. And she did. And she played great. And she picked up a huge win. Brooke was the 2 seed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Jeannie's definitely – I think she's worked her way into that top 10.
Yeah.
For women's singles for sure. She might be 10, but she's worked her way into the top 10.
Yeah.
So, anyway, shout out Annalee. I don't even know what to say about her anymore. She is insane. By the way, was Scott back? Was Mr. Scott there?
I did not see him, no.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw this dude, hand or something.
I don't know. He could have been.
And I thought maybe it was him, but
I didn't see. Anyways. All right, real quick, let's give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is C&D Pickleball Nets. Jimmy, can you tell us about C&D Pickleball Nets?
They're the best pickleball nets ever. Everybody knows that. Our guy, Richie Twazin, owner of the California Black Bears.
Yeah.
He is in Pasadena, lives in California. And they had that. Obviously, there's fires everywhere, but they had that. So, oh gosh, it was voice typing. They obviously have a lot of fires going on, so prayers for everybody in California. But there's huge wind with it, and that's what's making it so dangerous.
Yeah.
And Richie posted this picture. His entire fence
was blown over.
House, blown completely over.
Yeah.
And sitting next to the fence, unharmed, hasn't moved a millimeter, is this freaking C&D net.
Yeah.
In black bear colors, by the way, custom black bear net. And it's just sitting there.
Yeah, that just goes to the quality of those nets. They're top notch. And if you own, there are so many pickleball facilities that I see in person and also online, and I am shocked. We talk about this so often, but I'm shocked at how many of those facilities do not invest in quality nets.
Someone sent me a picture of this new facility in Grand Rapids. And I literally, my response was, that's got to be like date night facility only for casual players. But it's 3 courts and all 3 nets are touching.
Yeah.
And they're all 3, like what's portable nets, not great quality. And then like the ceilings are probably like 10 feet high.
Yeah.
And not only are the ceilings short, but the lights hang down. And I was just like, like if you're going to open an indoor facility, sure. Okay. If that's just like casual players and they're going to show up with their wood paddles and have fun, fine, I guess. But spend a little extra money. And now you don't even have to spend as much and get quality nets. And we've seen that there's not a better net that lasts longer, that's more durable, that doesn't use cheap plastic wheels, that doesn't make their players use 008s than C&D nets.
Yeah. Go check them out, bestpickleballnets.com, and use code KOTC for the best price possible on these nets. Like I said, they will be the best investment you can make for any pickleball court.
How's your net?
Incredible.
Yeah, no issues.
We have snow, wind, everything like that, and it's still right there.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Do you want to get into mixed doubles?
Yeah, let's go mixed doubles. Okay. So mixed doubles was again super exciting. We had some interesting partnerships, some that don't always play together, so that always makes things fun. Yeah, so we had a couple new. So one kind of funny thing with mixed doubles is Krista Getcheva and Colin Johns.
Yes.
They had to play qualies.
Yep.
And they lost in qualies.
They didn't make it out of qualies.
Well, they did.
Well, they didn't.
They got the lucky loser.
Exactly. But they didn't make it out of qualies.
Yeah, they lost and didn't make it out of qualies. Yeah. But then they end up being the lucky loser, as they call it, which is essentially what happens is when there's a odd number of teams, I guess.
Yeah, someone pulls out or there's a
someone pulls out, odd number of teams. So they end up getting out of qualies. And then they go and beat Alex Trong and Roscoe, which isn't a bad team at all. And then they beat Julian and Lauren.
Yeah.
And then they had to play Ben and Annalie. Yeah. But insane, right? Like,
yeah, also Jackie and Riley. Is it Jackie and Riley?
Viv and Riley.
Oh, Viv and Riley. They had to play qualies too, right?
They had to play qualies.
Yep.
They got out of qualies. And this is what we're talking about. So PPA essentially is saying that if you're an unsigned player, you have to play qualies. So Glosman's contract, let me explain real quick because I don't know if we've talked about it. Glosman signed an MLP deal before Tour Wars. When the leagues merged, full merger, complete merger, Jim
Kloss.
When the leagues merged, they went to the players and they renegotiated some of these deals. And essentially most of the players took a cut, right? And then they renegotiated them. They said, okay, your MLP days will convert to PPA tournaments, and then you'll play this many team events. And they kind of converted those contracts into new deals. Yeah. Well, there were 3 players at the time that refused to take any sort of cut. There was more, but 3 big names. One of them was Riley Newman, and that's why we didn't see Riley play many PPAs at the beginning of the year. And then they ended up renegotiating, and now Riley is back playing PPAs. But remember, he was only going to play MLPs for a while. Vivian Glosman, who still has refused to take a cut, and Judith Castillo. So Glosman is not a gold card member. Judith is not a gold card member. Now they are getting the full amount of their original contracts. So for them, that outweighs this PPA gold card. Yeah. But essentially Glosman and Judith are signed MLP only, which means that they can go play as many MLPs as they want. They can go play, as many as there are. They can go play MLPs, but if they're playing PPAs, They're essentially have to play qualies,
have to pay entry
fees, all those things. So Riley and Jackie, I assume were not aware of this when they signed up with Glassman, because I don't think anybody at their level would agree to play qualies. Mm-hmm. So they end up getting put in qualies. So they win. This is the craziest part about it. They win their qualies, and then because they have to come through qualies, their first round matchup is Kate Fahey and Connor Garnett. Mm-hmm. Like, not only does that sucks for Kate and Connor.
Yeah, it sucks for the main draw people.
Yeah, that's the team. Like, I'm not worried about people are like, imagine signing up for qualies and you have to play Viv and Riley. It's like, I'm not worried about those people. I think actually those people be happy. They're fighting to get into the main draw and play that level of competition. But imagine the main draw people that did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And now they have to play Viv and Riley. So Connor actually got sick. He ended up getting food poisoning. Yeah. And so they pulled out and withdrew. So Viv and Riley advanced. But now in the next round, it's Jay and Callie that have to play Viv and Riley. Yeah. Which in the second round, it's more level. Like you more
after the first round, it's
you more expect that. Yeah. And they end up getting upset actually by Jay and Callie. Not upset, but they ended up losing to Jay and Callie.
Yes, yeah. But they were up in the third. They were up. They hit the switch like 6-2, and I think they were up like 7-4 or something like that, and they ended up losing.
Yeah. So, it's just the way it works out is I think you're punishing the main draw people.
Yeah. Christian go ahead.
Go ahead. Christian and Tyra.
Yes.
Yep. So Christian and Tyra had a insane run. New partnership. Tyra played a lot with Dylan last year. She has played a little with Christian. She lives by Christian. You know, I think that they're friends as much as you can be friends with Christian. Mm-hmm. And they made a deep run. They get to the semis, and they play Ben and Annalie. And they're up, Tyler.
10-4.
10-4. First of all, they beat Hayden and Anna. Uh-huh. They beat Lacey and Tyson. They beat Colin Chick and Brooke Buckner. I mean, they had an incredible run. They're up 10-4 in the third.
Yeah.
10-4 in the third. And my personal opinion, my untrained eye, mm-hmm. Tyra Black was the best player on that court the entire game. Okay. She was the best player on that court. But at the end, when it got to 10-4, Christian started overplaying. He started to get tight. He started trying too hard to end the match as opposed to doing what got them there, which is just continue to play the match how you played it.
How many match points did they have?
So they only had like 4. It wasn't anything crazy because Ben and Annalie made a massive run. What was crazy?
But they had more than 2. They had more than 2.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, what's crazy is it was 8-4, mm-hmm. and Ben missed a return off of Tyra's serve, mm-hmm. and then Annalie missed a return.
In a row?
In a row.
Wow.
To put it to 10-4. So Ben and Annalie end up winning 12-10. Christian has like a full meltdown. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, we saw you punch paddle. Uh-huh. But you punch with your right hand. They talked about this.
I think I do both. I'm ambidextrous, so I'll do both.
So Dave Fleming pointed out that you and Adam Stone that you usually punch with your right. Uh-huh. Just smarter than punching with your left because you're lefty. Yeah. Christian had a full paddle punch. Yeah. I think Leia had a paddle punch. Yeah.
It's a tennis thing.
It must be.
Yeah. But the best is when you punch the strings and your knuckles start bleeding.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that.
Yeah.
But Christian not only like...
But it actually hurts more on the pickleball paddle because on the tennis, it like goes in. It absorbs it. Oh. But on the pickleball paddle, it's just this solid sheet.
Do you want like less grit so it doesn't like give you like cheese grater on your knuckles?
Exactly.
Proton, the smooth...
Yeah.
The Escu's Proton probably wouldn't feel bad.
Well, does he put the pine tar on or?
I mean, it would get stuck.
Yeah.
Anyways, there was more than that, by the way. Those are just off the top of my head. It seemed like it was just like a paddle punching weekend. Yeah. But Christian not only punched it, but then he like snapped the handle. Uh-huh. Like got all pissed and sat down. It was crazy. I mean, again, that's got to be insanely frustrating to lose that. Yeah. And so, Ben and Annalie make the finals. On the other side of the bracket, James and Rachel upset J-Dub and Georgia.
So I didn't watch hardly any of the matches. But what was going on
somebody asked on Twitter for podcast hosts to not do that this
Oh,
year.
my apologies. That's why you are a co-host. What was James's story? Wasn't he like complaining or something about his back or?
Yeah, so he hurt it.
Okay.
So he hurt his back. I guess it's been hurt for a while.
What do you do?
He sprained it or something.
How do you sprain a back?
I don't know. Somehow he hurt it. And so he's actually going to the doctor in 2 days.
Okay.
And so he ends up hurting his back, and he like gutted it out through the match with the Johnsons. And then he played Fed and Catherine.
Was it on every shot or just like when he was bending over?
No. You could tell he was in pain on every shot. He wouldn't go. Here's what's funny. He wouldn't go get a ball. Rachel went and picked up every ball. The ball could be like right at his feet, and Rachel would come over and pick it up. That's a good partner.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Don't you think? Like, she would pick up the ball for him. They needed, you know what they needed?
Chivalry is not dead.
They needed that sticky, the putty.
Chivalry is not dead.
Somebody send James Ignatowicz the paddle putty.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. It's with Pablo.
Yeah, it's where he can pick it up. So, anyways, he actually ended up grinding out a pretty close match with Fed and Catherine, but they lost, and then they withdrew from the bronze. And so then in the finals, Fed and Catherine took game one off of Ben and Annalise. 12-10, and then 11-5, 11-3, 11-3.
Yeah.
Ben and Annalise, big win. The other, like, there were some good, like Travis and Lane Sleeth took James and Rachel to 3. Jackie and Jaume upset Quang, and I don't know if it's upsets. I shouldn't quit saying that. Quang and Paris. I thought that Quang and Paris would be a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Jackie and Jaume just dismantled them.
Yeah. It was windy that day.
Yeah. You actually had a really good match with Alex Walker and Eric Roddy.
Yeah, that one was close. Yeah. Once again, that was crazy win. But yeah, we were actually down in the third, and then we were able to come back and pull it through.
Yeah. And then Jack and Jeannie lost the close one to Megan and AJ at 9 and 8.
I thought it went 3.
No, 9 and 8. But I think Jack and Jeannie led in the second.
Gotcha.
Anyways, yeah, there's a lot. The other match that was pretty epic was Tina and Deckel lost to Leia and Daescu 11-1 in game one. And then they end up pulling out just a freaking nail biter in game 2, 13-11 before winning 11-5. So that's another. That
was a pretty well-attended match I saw.
Yeah. I mean, just great matches all weekend. So, all right,
real quick, we got to give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is Vulcan Pickleball. They make the V Pro Flight, and this is the exact same ball that they use on the PPA side and also the MLP side. They are the official ball of both of those leagues, and they also are the official ball of the King of the Court podcast.
Yes.
Vulcan. Go check them out at vulcansportinggoods.com and use code KOTC for the best price possible.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of pros lately. Just nothing but compliments for the Vulcan.
Unpaid,
unprovoked, on anything. Just saying that it's Zane. Which, by the way, where was Zane?
I don't know.
No, Zane wasn't there. Vivian David wasn't there.
Yeah.
Jade wasn't there.
Yeah.
I thought you guys had these new rules where you had to play these slams.
I mean, there's obviously exceptions if you're injured or something like that. So,
anyways, the Zane was like, the Vulcan is the best ball we've ever played.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great, especially with the paddles these days. Like, it is honestly an incredible blend between control and stiffness. It plays really well when you hit a good drop. You're able to shape the ball, put spin on it, and the ball stays around, and it doesn't break that frequently. I mean, you'll get multiple days out of it.
Well, dude, imagine the balls of the past with these paddles in terms of breaking
and getting out of round really quickly as well. Yeah. So go check them out. vulcansportinggoods.com. Use code KOTC. It supports us and gets you the best price possible.
Yeah.
All right. Women's doubles. All right. Did you buy yourself a girlies shirt?
No, I don't know if they make plus sizes.
Do you like that name? I mean, we've already been over this.
No, I hate it. I think it's the worst name in the world.
I really don't like it. And I mean, I have 2 girls, 3 and 5 years old, and my wife calls them like the girlies.
Yeah.
They're like 3 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
These guys, I don't know.
So I hate the name, but the fact that they have those sweatshirts, which I actually think is kind of a cool color and cool design. I'm not going to knock the hustle, but the name is dumb, right? I've been very open about that. I don't like the name, but I mean, people seem to love it.
I'm going to get you a girly shirt.
They have capitalized. If you get me a girly's sweat, I will wear it on the pod. 100% I'll wear it on the pod.
With Anna right here.
Yeah.
Is she coming on the pod?
I mean, I just feel like now that we're colleagues with the Picklr, she probably should, right?
There's zero chance she's coming on the pod.
Did they put that in her contract?
There's zero chance she is coming on the pod.
Anna, I will buy a girly sweatshirt if you come on the pod. How about that?
Okay, women's doubles.
Women's doubles. So, I mean, there's a couple of...
Jackie and Viv have to go through qualies.
Yeah, so we talked about Viv and Riley going through qualies. So Jackie and Viv go through qualies. And again, who do they get first round? They get Millie and Alex Strong. They get a 12 seed, which is like... That sucks for Millie and Alex.
Yeah.
And not only did it suck, but they lost 1-0.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
Can't believe they lost 11-0.
I mean, if you look at the 11 seed, who was the 11? The 11 seed was Brooke Buckner and Zoe Wang. And they end up getting Emily Cedarquist, formerly Ackerman, and Jeannie Arakina. You look at and they say 8 through 12 can be interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the 8, Tina Pisnick and Kate Fahey get Jilly B and her sister.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's just a massive difference there. Not that every match isn't tough, but I just think that there's
any matches stand out.
There's a big difference. So
that you liked.
Yeah. So just looking at the women's draw, I mean, Georgia and Tyra, again, Tyra continued her tear. I mean, her and Georgia, they beat Tina and Kate. They ended up taking Anna and Rachel to 3, losing 11-8. That was probably one of the better matches. Catherine and Annalie in the semis actually played Viv and Jackie. And Viv and Jackie dominated them in game 1. I mean, it was 11-5 and it wasn't even that close. Like domination, I don't think it looked like when Anna Bright and Rachel are at their best, right? They've done this to Annalie and Catherine. Problem is everybody can only do it for one game. But that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, Viv was she's just long, dude. She's 6 feet, right? She gets everything. Insane power. She's got the power of most men, to be honest. And then obviously Jackie's one of the best dinkers, has an insane forehand roll. I mean, it's incredible. But they beat him in game 1. And then this is what's crazy. I think that they actually played well in games 2 and 3. And they lost 11-2, 11-2.
Yeah.
That's how good Catherine and Annalie are.
Yeah.
And then,
I think a random prediction, but I think moving forward, it is, and it's not only because I had this happen to myself, but I think you will see a lot more scores be very lopsided, as in 11-0, 11-2, 11-3, or 11-1 or something like that. And then the other game, it could be a total turnaround.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that.
People go on these runs a lot more frequently, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing is what's your mindset, Ty? When you say you lose 11-0 or say you're down 9-1 or something, are you battling? Are you conserving? Is your mindset let's try something that we haven't been trying to see if we can get some momentum for the next game?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be different. I know some that would for sure almost tank and just want to conserve for the next game, but I think most of the players would want to switch things up and just try to get 1 or 2 points here and there and see if they can get the ball rolling. But yeah, you'll have different people doing different strategies.
Yeah. So Catherine and Al make the finals against Anna and Rachel. No surprise. The finals, so they lose. AB and Rachel lose 4 and 6 in the first 2. They win 11-5 in the third.
Okay.
And then they're up, I want to say they're up 10-4 in the fourth game.
Really? And they lose?
And they end up losing. They're up 10-8, I know for a fact. I was watching it, and I can't remember if the 10-4 was. Anyways, they were up 10-8, and Catherine and Annalie kind of came back a little bit. And then it was 10-11 for 10-11-2. Anna and Rachel were serving, and Rachel kind of dumped a dink. And dink that she hits 9 times out of 10, probably 99 out of 100 into the net.
Jilly B, 500 times in a row.
She looked right at her paddle, right at that 008.
Punched it?
No, but she definitely looked at it.
Switched to a Proton?
She should have. They ended up losing 12-10 in game 4. And then Georgia and Tyra win the bronze over Glosman and Jackie. Is that the first quali team to make the semis?
I feel like in men's singles or maybe women's singles, it's had to have happened. But in doubles,
I bet Hayworth went through qualis before and made it. Yeah. But in women's doubles,
in men's or women's doubles, I don't think that's happened.
It's funny because the seeding is 1, 2, 3, and 21.
Yeah.
But reality is they're probably an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Tyra with 2 bronze medals.
Impressive.
Catherine with a silver and a gold.
Impressive.
And Annalie.
Not impressive.
Triple crown.
Impressive.
Another triple crown for AL.
Okay, men's doubles.
All right, men's doubles is where it got wild.
Okay.
So
Jerry.
All right, little background. So somebody asked for this background, so I'm just going to be straight up and I'm going to give it, okay? So James Ignatowicz had this squad, Pickle Pod House. They're all buddies. It was Jericho Grolman, Harrison Gold, Dave Carvalho, Hugo. They're all BFFs. And James, they all played junior tennis together.
Yeah.
Been friends forever. James was helping him play pickle. And some beef went down between them. Depends on who you ask. Both sides have a different story. You know, the side with Jericho and them basically say that James treated him like crap. Maybe he had done some things that were inappropriate. Maybe he had taken some things that weren't his. If you ask James, there was jealousy issues about, you know, how good he got at pickle and his relationship with Anna and all these things. So Jericho and a couple of these dudes start firing off text messages to Anna and essentially sending her all these texts about what
may or may not be happening
with James. So Anna probably is looking at them like, what is happening? You know, and I think that was the beginning of the end of their relationship, just because it created a lot of doubt. James ends up, this is Masters last year, by the way.
Yes.
It was a couple months before, but Masters last year. James ends up, they also sent some messages, by the way, to Selkirk, his sponsor, of some videos and stuff that James had taken when he was like 15, that probably not appropriate. So they sent him to his sponsor, Selkirk. They sent him to the PPA.
Yeah.
James goes to the PPA and says, these guys are crazy. They won't leave me alone. He actually changed his phone number. And he's like, can you guys help out? Like, I don't want these guys coming to tournaments. So PPA goes to Jericho and Harrison and says, you can't play Masters. They fight back and forth. They end up letting him play, but they say, stay away from James. So now we fast forward a whole year, Tyler. That was a year, and I've talked to Harrison. I've talked to Jericho. They're actually, you know, good dudes. They just really have a lot of issues with James. On the flip side, James has issues with them, and it's like, you guys are young, just stay away from each other. So a year goes by. Jericho ends up getting put in the same bracket with James. The night before, he posts on his Instagram, says he's playing James Ignatowicz, which again is like, you laugh, but it's kind of childish, but also
Jimmy loves it. Jimmy Miller loves it.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're playing their match. James is playing with CJ Klinger. It's close. It's 10-9.
Well, Jericho and his partner win the first game.
Yeah, they won the first game. So this is game 3. Yeah. It's 10-9 in game 3.
I was there at the beginning, and CJ and James were kind of killing them, so I just ended up leaving.
Yeah.
And then I get notifications that it's very close.
So and then that third game, Jericho kind of starts chirping a little bit. Now, James is not a chirper at all.
No.
And obviously CJ is not. CJ is to be protected at all costs.
Yeah.
And so they hit a ball into the corner. It's 10-9. Hits this ball past CJ. It looks like real time from the angles that we had, it looked like it was questionable, but I thought maybe it could have been out.
So it's funny. The main angle that people are talking about, it looks out from.
Yeah.
But then there's another angle from behind the ball where it looks very well in.
Yes. So now someone else had it on their phone, and that ball looked 100% in.
Yeah.
So Jericho appeals to the ref. he starts screaming. I'm not like, we're not talking like he's like.
Can you reenact it?
No, I can't even do it justice. Honestly, go watch it again. We clipped it, but he starts screaming and he says, "You're unbelievable, unbelievable," and then he starts yelling and he goes, "Not you, CJ, him." And that was the funniest part to me because like CJ made the call. CJ is literally from here to here. Look, and if you watch the clip from behind, CJ is looking like this, right at the ball. Jericho
Not
didn't
you,
care.
but him.
Yes, not you, but him. And he screams and he stomps off and he's pissed. And James and CJ are just standing there. And later on, someone clipped it and had that reverse view. And CJ in his defense was like, "Sorry. From my angle, I thought it was out. I apologize if I missed it." Jericho, in his defense, was like, "No worries. Things happen." And honestly, he's way more famous than had he won. Nobody would have cared if he won because he would have lost the next round. But now everyone's like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
This guy's must-see TV. Put him on TV.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the background. That's the beef. That's how it all started. Wildly enough, I've seen all the text messages. I've seen this firsthand. I don't have like a dog in this fight. I don't really have a side. I think that it's a little bit sad that these dudes were all such close friends, and then they both kind of went on this spree to ruin each other's lives and make the other one look bad. So I thought it was over. Maybe there's always going to be a little bad blood there, but promise you, if they do play again, you want to get to that court.
Yeah.
Gather round.
It was pretty well attended also. There were quite a few people there.
Yeah, and Jericho he's actually.
I'd say a good amount were cheering for CJ, rightfully so, and then the rest, a lot of them were cheering for Jericho.
Well, the other thing I'll say too is Jericho's gotten really good.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's a good player, and so it wouldn't. I mean, it would have been obviously a massive upset and a surprise if Jericho won, but if he keeps grinding like he is, don't be surprised if you see his name around. And so. Anyways, that's where it is. There's another podcast out there. Somebody tagged us and said, "Hey, we need the backstory." And this other podcast made some comment that said, "Why don't you let us do it and stick with facts and not hearsay?" Which is wild coming from this podcast because
who was it?
It was friggin' tennis. It was Travis.
Oh, really?
The wildest thing I've ever heard. I'm just gonna pretend that Travis was joking that. He's got jokes because Graham literally knows the least amount of any human being about pickleball. So that's weird to me.
They'll come after me for sure.
But anyways, so good win for James. Him and CJ end up losing to Quang and Matt Wright the next round.
That one was a pretty wild one too.
The James and CJ one?
Yeah, went 11. Matt and Quang.
Yeah. So it went 11-9.
Yeah.
And then we get Matt and Quang against Ben and Colin. And
tell us about it.
Shot heard round the world.
The most gangster shot.
Most gangster shit I've ever seen, dog. All right. So I actually disagree with that. So Colin and Ben blast them 11-0 in game one. It's 1-0 in game two. Okay. And I'm sure we have the ability to clip this and air it.
And a little bit of background. My opinion, I don't think so. Ben has played Quang quite a few times.
Yeah.
And he struggles with him in singles.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but they've always had close matches.
Yeah.
Quang has actually beaten him maybe 2 or even 3 times.
Yeah.
In singles.
Yeah.
And actually he's beaten him a couple times in doubles as well.
Yeah.
And Ben is very traditionalist. He likes kind of the dinking. He likes kind of the old school style.
The cat and mouse.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah.
And now with a lot of these paddles coming into the sport, it's making the game a lot faster. And people are just kind of ripping the ball. And a lot of people who think that the game should be played a certain way don't think that these new players have that much skill because they're just coming in and they're just ripping the balls.
I mean, in the words of Colin, the 4-5s with a rocket paddle.
Exactly. And so, in my opinion, I think
although Quang was using a 008
some of those sentiments were lingering around there.
Yeah. So what happened though is it's 1-0, and if you watch, Quang is at the kitchen line and he rips 2 balls, like literally full drives from the kitchen line right at Ben's body twice in a row. And Ben just resets both. Right. And the reality is Quang was trying to bag him. He was trying to hit the ball through him.
Yes,
that's the new age. If you watch Quang play, he can drive the ball from 2 inches off the ground, and he hits everything as hard as he can. There's no everything is 100 miles an hour, and he's going to try and win by hitting the ball through you. And yeah, I think it frustrated Ben. It pissed Ben off. So there's a dink, and Ben takes a step back, and he's at the kitchen line.
It actually came from Matt, which I thought was a little bit funny.
Yeah. And he takes a step back, and Ben hits a ball as hard as I've ever seen maybe anybody hit a ball, although we have seen this a few times from other players, right at Quang's head. Quang ducks, ball lands 10 feet up the video board. Quang literally turns around, and if you want to see the most gangsta shit you've ever seen, he just goes like this and doesn't say a word about it. So they talked to Ben after the match, and Ben said that he didn't like Quang hitting the balls at his body as hard as he was, and so he fired a little warning shot, as he called it. So for me, the automatic thing that I related this to was baseball. And like if a player shows you up or he does something you don't like, or maybe he slides hard into second base, right? And, spikes up and maybe he's going to take out your shortstop or whatever. The pitcher throws at him. There's these unwritten rules, and the pitcher protects them. Or if you showboat, you bat flip, the pitcher throws at him. Now, they aim for the middle of their back, or they throw behind them just to like send a little warning. And I think that that's what Ben was doing. With that being said, all the people out there that are saying that if Ben wanted to hit him, he would have hit him, that is complete and total bull, because Quang did duck. So
it did clip the net though, right?
No, it didn't touch the net.
It didn't?
Did not touch the net.
Oh, I thought it did.
No, never touched the net.
Okay.
So for people saying that Ben wanted to hit him, he would have hit him. If that's the case, then why wouldn't Ben use that shot every single time? Because he could just hit people for points over and over again. Right? He's not that accurate.
Yeah.
Ben was trying to go for his head, but I don't think Ben was trying to injure him. I don't think Ben was being malicious. Somebody said that they should press charges and that PPA is going to be held liable when someone loses an eye. I don't believe in any of that. I think that Ben was pissed off. He let his emotions get the best of him. He fired a shot at Quang. It is what it is. It's over with. It's squashed. But let's not pretend that Ben wasn't like if Ben wanted to hit him, he would have hit him, because that's not true. It was hard, and he hit it like that for a reason.
If I had to guess, how fast do you think that ball was going? If you had to guess,
I don't know, 60.
If I had to guess, it'd probably be between 55 and 65.
Yeah, from 14 feet.
Exactly.
Because we're kitchen to kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like I said, he unloaded on that ball.
Yeah.
And then he kind of turned around with like this little smirk. And even Colin was like, Colin's face was incredible. And so, like I said, I don't have like this massive issue with it in terms of like, Ben should be suspended and blah, blah, blah. Because again, like he felt like he was protecting Colin and protecting himself and letting Quang know, like, if you're going to continue to play that way, then I'm going to play that way. And so I don't have a huge issue with it. Now, look.
The only thing is Quang, he does play that way. I've played against him. He does play that way. He's speeding everything up 100 miles an hour. The only thing is he's not going for the heads.
Yeah, and that's the thing is again, if you want to do like then body him if you really want to do that. Ben's as accurate as everybody says. Put one in his neck.
Yeah.
Right? Put it right on his neck. Tattoo him.
Yeah.
Don't freaking go for the guy's eye. And, because I think that even Ben would admit that had he, hit him in the face, he probably would have felt bad.
Yeah. I mean, you would hope that.
Yeah. But we've seen this more often. I mean, Jay DeVillier's done it 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
Ignatowicz did it.
Yep.
Jay tried to do it to Scarpa and luckily hit the net.
Yep.
He did it to, what was the one, the Shelby Bates?
I think it's a very, very slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I'm conflicted on my thoughts on it, my opinion. But I will say that if PPA doesn't address this, I honestly think there will be way more people starting to try this. And also I think there will be fights that will actually break out.
Yeah. I mean, I think if it's anybody but Quang, I think you might see, like, I think someone's throwing punches.
For sure.
Quang is just
For sure.
pretty mild-mannered.
That was actually the most funny thing is
he just turned around. That's what I'm saying. He was like, he didn't even phase him. But, like, you tell me if that ball wasn't hit like that at Travis.
Exactly.
At Rafa.
Exactly.
AJ.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you hit that at Matt, you may see Matt come at you.
Yeah.
But now Ben and Matt are friends. But Christian, anybody like that, I think that you might see a fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not like...
Is that part of the game?
I think that aiming for somebody's body is a good shot at a lot of times, but the body is not the head.
The thing that I don't know if I agree with, so Zane Navratil, he tweeted out, he said, I'm the most pro body bag guy out there, but even this kind of crosses the line for me. And I get what he's saying, but the thing is, if you're pro body bags, that in and of itself is very slippery as well. If people miss hit, if they're going for a body bag, but they miss hit by a half an inch or an inch, you're going for their face.
Yeah,
and so
for sure. And
he's saying, oh, I'm pro body bag. And this takes me back to the time where I think it was actually Quang or Chuck Taylor. They mishit a ball and it almost hit Zane in the face. And Zane turned around and hucked his paddle. Do you remember that?
Yeah, wasn't it Chuck?
Yes, I think it was
mixing
Chuck.
up your Asians.
Yeah, it was Chuck and Quang though. Right?
Yes, but I think Chuck hit it.
But Zane turns around and he hucks his paddle at the fence. And it's like, okay, if you're so pro body bag, then you shouldn't be mad if people are doing it to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And I mean, there's times where players
might say they're pro body bag or pro something until it actually happens to them. And then when it happens to them is a totally different story. And that's where...
And there's players that get hit in the face, all the time. But usually it's off the net.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was Judith Castillo got hit in like the neck, and nobody's trying to hit anybody else in the face.
I mean that's different.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's different. But to blatantly step back and do that, and like I said, he's not the first one to do it.
No, I mean, you look at Jay DeVilliers in MLP when I was with him. I mean, oh my gosh, Jay was hit even harder than Ben's was.
Yeah, Jay does it. Jay Ignatowicz did it.
Yeah.
He got pissed off and did it.
Yeah.
And it's almost always done out of anger.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's not a place in the game for that. Like,
wait till somebody gets hit in the face.
That's
that
the
speed
thing.
that will cause
that, and that's the thing. And again, for me personally, I think if you want to, if that's part of your game, like how Quang plays and Ben wants to play like that too, that's fine. But then, it's the maliciousness of it where it gets a little bit gray for me.
Yeah.
Like you intentionally went for the dude's head.
Yeah.
And then you laughed about it, and then you doubled down about it.
Doubled down on it
and posted the video of it. So I don't know. I think that it's just a little bit different.
And then some people, I mean, people are divided on this. We posted it, and we've had the most interaction on this post on our Instagram than any other post.
And maybe it's because I don't believe that Ben can control it as well as everybody's saying. And if he wanted to hit him, if you truly believe that Ben can control it like that, then yeah. If I thought that Ben can control the ball that well, then yeah, maybe I'd be like, it's not a big deal. He was sending a warning shot. And like I said, I'm not like...
No one can control the ball in the heat of the moment like that.
Should be suspended or anything like that. I just think that it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So
so that was a crazy situation.
Yeah.
All right, back to men's doubles.
Men's doubles. So you and Connor.
Me and Connor Garnett.
We played Deckel and Tyson.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best played games I've seen out of the two of you.
Yeah, we both played really well. It was at nighttime. The lights on center were not, it didn't show on the live stream, but they were not good.
Did you know that? So in the semis, Annalie, they were playing at night. Annalie asked, it was against Viv and Jackie. Annalie asked to turn down the video boards because they were green.
Yeah.
And it was night. And they went and turned them down. And all it did was make them like staticky.
Oh, really?
And she's like, yep, that helped. It was just, so now.
Quality.
So now you just have green static instead of,
Yeah, anyways, we played Tyson and Deckel, and we did well. We played.
Yeah, you guys played really well. Tyson texted you?
He did, yeah.
You want to tell us what he said?
He said, congrats, you guys played awesome.
That's nice.
I know.
Yeah. Group text?
Yeah, me and Connor.
Oh,
I actually didn't have his number saved.
Oh.
And so I was like, who is this? So I went back in and I saw our previous conversation and I was like, oh, nice.
Oh, nice. The previous ones weren't as nice?
Yeah, there were no responses in those.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's awesome that, you guys played great. And then the quarters. Something happened.
So we thought we were playing 3 out of 5 games. And so we lost the first 2 and we were going to get started in the third game. Yeah, just to make a fun 5-gamer. But at the end of the second game, I guess it was over.
So this is what I talked about on that quarterfinal day and how everything was crazy. So Colin and Ben beat Quang and Matt.
So by the way, me and my partner, we lost 0-0.
Yeah.
And I think this was the first time in my entire life that I've lost 0-0. I've lost 0 before, but never 0-0.
Well, so it was 0-3. And then Christian and Andre win 11-4, 11-3 over Noe and Rafa. Mm-hmm. And then you guys lose. Not only did you lose 0-0, by the way, you know how long that match was?
It was probably 15, maybe 20 minutes.
19 minutes.
Yeah.
They said on the broadcast.
Yeah.
I mean, Hayden didn't miss.
No, I think he actually missed 1 third shot drop.
Yeah.
And I actually felt like me and Connor played okay. We didn't play great, but I don't think we played bad.
You didn't play 0-0.
Yeah.
4-4, okay.
Yeah.
But not 0-0.
Exactly.
Yeah, Hayden was incredible. And you know what pissed me off about Hayden? I'm just going to say this. Is he played like that against you, and he was speeding every ball up, and he was super aggressive, and he knew that he was feeling good, and his hands were good, and he felt like he had the best hands on the court, right?
Yeah.
And then in the championship, in the finals today, that was nowhere to be found.
Yeah. They almost lost the match before ours.
Yeah.
Like, we almost played a different team than them.
Yeah. So they won 11-5 in the third over AJ and Blaine.
Yeah, but they almost lost the first game. They were down 9-5 in the first game, 9-6, and then they lost the second game.
Yeah. And then they lost the second game 11-1, by the way. And then they almost lost the game after yours.
Yeah.
They beat Augie and Jaume 13-11 in the third.
They're a good team, and to be honest, they probably would have beaten us had we played even better than that. But what was I going to say?
I mean, you guys definitely caught them on their best day.
Yeah.
But
they're a good team.
Yeah, they are. They're a great team.
Me and Connor have played them a couple times, and we really struggle against them.
So that's my thing is in the gold medal match. So it's Colin and Ben's last game. Everybody's hyping this up. Their partnership's ending, but that's not true because they have probably 24 men's doubles matches in MLP, assuming Colin stays on the team. That's a lot. So let's not pretend that it's like over.
Yeah.
But Hayden didn't play the same way. His style wasn't the same. I know that Ben and Colin do a really good job of dictating pace.
Yeah.
And they hit, obviously, precision dinks and things like that. But I would just like to see Hayden be Hayden.
Me and Connor's game matches up against, I would say, almost every single other team other than Hayden and Fed.
Yeah. And so I just would have liked to see that a little bit more. So they ended up losing. Fed and Hayden ended up losing to Ben and Colin 11-5, 12-10, 11-3. So Ben wins mixed and men's golds. He does not play singles.
Doesn't play singles.
And he says he's not playing singles for a while.
So I asked somebody very high up at PPA about that, and they said, no, that's not true. He just didn't play this tournament. He's actually signed up for SoCal that got canceled.
Oh, really?
And so I don't know if it was just 1 or 2 tournaments.
It was Mish that said that he's not playing for a while.
I asked somebody else that, and they said, no, he's still playing.
True? Okay. And then the bronze, Christian and Daescu, who also had a really good run. Yes, they're a tough team. Yeah. I mean, they're long. They're big. Yeah. They took Ben and Colin to 3 as well. Did you hear who Colin said he's playing with? Was it James Ignatowicz and who was the other one? Noe, yeah. I think I'm actually surprised. Those are good partners. Yeah. So we'll see. So, I mean, look, dude, if you look at these, I mean, you and Connor are... The thing that will be interesting... Well, all right, go ahead. I'm just saying you and Connor are, you very consistently get to the quarters. Yeah. Right? So, I mean, you guys are a solid team. Augie and Jaume have played twice together, and they've gotten the semis both times. They had match points against them, against Jay and Pat. Yeah, that's right. They were very lucky to pull through that one. Dylan and freaking Pablo lost 12-10 and third to Julian and Hunter.
Yes, that was
It's another good team. Those two good teams. Obviously, Hayden
once you get
Fed,
to most of the men's teams are pretty tough nowadays.
Dude, it is.
It's almost getting to singles.
Yeah, Christian and Andre are really good. Ignatowicz and CJ are really good. I mean, Noe and Rafa beat J-Dub and Gabe Tardio.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, do you think Ben's having second thoughts? Gabe loses in the freaking round of 16 and him and Colin win it?
I don't know.
Gabe got paid and he freaking mailed it in. Or maybe Gabe was like, see, maybe they lost and Gabe was like, I told you, J-Dub, I'm just not the right guy for you. Like, I told you, you dodged the bullet not playing with me.
Oh, man.
Was he trying to prove a point?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else with men's doubles?
No, I mean, like I said, congrats to Ben and Colin. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Colin Johns played outstanding all week. He was really, really good. He was taking way more court than he normally does. He was aggressive. So, yeah, I mean, congrats to them. I think Hayden and Fed are going to be a problem. But did you see Tucson? Who's playing together?
I did not know.
Ben and Hayden are playing Tucson together.
Nice. That should be fun.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
SoCal, yeah. So the SoCal tournament got canceled.
Yeah. So a lot of people thought that it was because it was like the fires in it. It is because of the fires, but their production crew that sets up like the stage and everything like that, it got burned down.
They're like the warehouse, right? That has everything got burned down. One thing I want to say real quick, PPA ref, guy that always nice to us from the very beginning, Mark Thomas.
Okay.
You know Mark? Big guy.
Yes.
Jacked.
Yep.
He's a firefighter.
He is.
And he actually left the event early.
Really?
Yeah. Masters early to go help fight the fire.
Okay.
So props to Mark.
Yeah, Mark's great.
What a freaking
He's
stud.
one of the best, yeah.
Yeah, one of the best refs, nicest guy, and I mean he's a hero.
Yeah.
So props to him. Second thing, so like you said, that production thing burned down. There's a lot of people like I said, Richie lives down there, Rick Chan. There's a lot of players that live down there. So, hopefully they can get that all under control, figured out. Yeah, it's crazy.
Last but not least, big shout out to Holey Performance. Jimmy, tell us about Holey Performance.
Holey Performance. They have a pregame, Tyler. A little bit of caffeine, give you a little bit of boost, get you fired up before your match. They've got the in-game. We all need electrolytes. Everybody drink electrolytes. Don't just drink water. Electrolytes will help you stay hydrated. Even when it's cold, you're still sweating. Even when you're indoors, you're still sweating. So get those electrolytes in. Holey has those. They also have a post-game. So what this does is it helps with any sort of muscle soreness. Helps you recover. And then the thing that I started drinking when I got sick and I need to stay on it, they have greens. And the greens have they help with your immune system. They taste delicious. They don't taste like everybody else's that are basically a scoop of dirt mixing it with water. So go check them out, holeyperformance.com. Use code KOTC.
KOTC, yep.
And we've been teasing this for a while, but I think we're only a couple weeks away from our signature flavor coming out.
Yeah. The thing that I like what Jimmy says and what is actually out there is you might not know it, but your body needs electrolytes. It needs these healthy ingredients that Holey has. So even if you think you might not need it, make sure you're drinking it throughout the day to give your body the best optimal performance.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Getting into questions.
Yeah, let's do questions. While you're looking those up, I want to it's not a question, but I want to get your take on, we're going to do a new segment called the social media post of the day.
Okay.
So I love the Facebook forums. I love all the pickleball forums. There was people questioning every single thing that anybody has ever done in pickleball.
Okay.
Someone was questioning Rachel's fitness level, which I would never even think to question.
What about her skincare routine?
Yeah, everything imaginable. You get angry, they get mad at you, all these things. So there's a dude, Jim and Pickle on Twitter.
Okay.
And I just want your take on his tweet.
Okay.
He says, Christian Alshon needs to move on from Lee Waters and hire a disciplinary male coach.
Okay.
He's highly talented, but not mentally stable. Chances are he chose a female because he's mentally fragile.
Okay.
I bet deep down he fears male discipline, which he absolutely needs for his emotional and mental development. With the right guidance, I think he would be virtually unstoppable. A female coach is just a bad idea for a man in general, but especially for him. Crazy that nobody seems to have offered this glaringly obvious advice. Tyler.
How is he not a GM of an MLP team?
Do you agree or disagree?
I would disagree.
Do you think that's, what? I guess I'm a little bit confused because it seems like there are a lot more females coming into coaching and coaching male sports now. Mm-hmm. And there seems to be success. Becky Hammond coached the Spurs as an assistant coach for 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. And Greg Popovich said she's one of the best coaches he's ever had on his staff.
Yep.
Christian made an absolute meteoric rise from last year to this year with Lee Waters as his coach.
Yeah.
In the last 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
J-Dub is coached by his mom.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit confused by that.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of a pretty crazy take.
I think that's just a little sexist, chauvinist take, or is there legitimacy to that?
I don't agree with it, but I think there's probably some that understand where he's coming from or have those traditional viewpoints.
That's fair.
Is that
do you feel like
polite way?
Do you feel like you're in a tight spot answering this?
Not really.
Yeah. Again, does it?
Lee Waters is a great coach.
Do you not think that Lee Waters knows pickleball?
Yeah, she knows pickleball.
Do you not think that Julie Johnson knows pickleball? Of course she does.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot. Caitlin Kerr, on her own with no help, drafted one of the best challenger level teams.
Yeah.
Leanne drafted an amazing challenger team.
Yeah. If anything, he should just say, Lee, be harder on Christian.
Yeah. That's all you need to say, right?
Yeah.
Like say that Christian, you could literally just say that Christian needs somebody. He needs tough love.
Yeah.
Say it like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to come from a male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if he needs that, to be honest.
No, and yeah, even the whole basis of it could be off. But anyways, that was wild. That is our social media post of the day.
All right, we'll see how long you keep this up.
No, there's some good ones, believe me. All right, questions.
Okay, all right. Somebody said, I know Dazan and Kohler are a thing. If she wants to win, she needs to switch ASAP, please.
I don't think that the plan was for them to play like the whole year together. I think that Megan was planning on playing with other people, and these last couple, she's ended up just playing with AJ. She had Daskew for a while. She's had other players. So yeah, we'll see how long they stay together. But I will say this: I don't think that they did horrible.
Yeah, but they also had yeah.
I didn't watch them and feel like that they underachieved by any means. I think that if I watched Megan and if I looked at the draws, that's, right about where I would assume that Megan and AJ would end up.
Yeah.
I feel like, they could have upset maybe one or two more upsets, but they beat Jeannie and Jack, and then they lost to Fed and Catherine. Did you expect them to beat Fed and Catherine?
No.
They lost to the silver medalists. So, and they beat Zane Ford and Dominique Schaefer. Zane Ford's playing really well.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right, hold on one second, dude. All the questions just disappeared. Let's see.
I think I have a couple. Does a PPA do a random bracket, or do they do everything? This is from our guy Tremaine Burton. You know Tremaine?
Of course.
Does a PPA do a random bracket, or do they do everything possible to match up Tyler and Tyson because of the drama? And it's always on center.
Yeah. I feel like previously they did do that, but now it doesn't seem as much. However, I feel like I have still played them quite a bit recently.
Singles and men's.
Yeah.
Tyson said in his post game in singles that he's probably played you 20 times.
Yeah.
It's always on center.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they love good theater.
They love it.
Absolutely love it.
All right, let's see if I can pull up these questions.
Why is James always hurt? Is it because he's chasing girls on the rebound and it's hurting his fitness?
Why is he?
I don't know. He has a bad back. He wasn't last year. He was struggling with all that sick and dehydration stuff. It's cramps. Cramping has always been a massive thing for him. It's always cramping. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe he does need to work on his fitness, right?
Yeah.
Okay, one more. How much difference does the Yola paddle make for a pro player in terms of improved performance?
I think it does make a difference. I think, in my opinion, in singles, it makes more of a difference because they're really driving through the ball. They're hitting passing shots. They need more power. Counters, it helps quite a bit too in doubles. But
do you think the Selkirk players having to use 008s versus Yola, the gap was wide in this event?
Well, I think the gap was wide just because nobody uses that paddle to begin with.
Yeah.
So they're not used to it. But yeah, even if they were used to it, I still think there would be a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Let's see. They said, don't mention my name, please, but are J-Dub and Julie Johnson angry at Gabe? Who will JW pair with?
I don't think, I'm sure that they're disappointed and they're not super happy about it. Mm-hmm. I actually asked Dylan who he thought J-Dub would play with, and Dylan said he wasn't sure. He said that he actually has no idea. So, why wouldn't you see maybe does J-Dub go play with Deskew? But I guess he's playing with Christian, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. Let's look at tournaments coming up. And like I said, Ben and Hayden are playing Tucson together. J-Dub is playing with Gabe in Tucson because...
Yeah.
So Gabe told me he's playing the first three with J-Dub. But then after that, I'm not sure. Okay. One person who does need a couple partners, I noticed coming up, was Matt Wright.
That'll be interesting, yeah.
So do we see Matt Wright and J-Dub team up?
Yeah, that could be interesting. Oh, man. All right. Sorry, guys. We had like 20 to 30 plus questions, and I have no idea where they went.
Lost them. By the way, Dylan and J-Dub are playing Texas Open together in March.
Okay.
So we may just see J-Dub jump around.
Yeah.
At least as of now. At least that's what it shows. That can obviously change because we're...
Somebody said, what happened to close call replay? The replay system at the Masters was awful.
Yeah, so what's weird is I felt like the replay system was better than it was pre-close call, but it's nothing compared to close call. So I think it depends on who you ask. You talk to our boy Randy Coleman, and he says that PPA essentially hired close call replay to steal the technology, and they're not going to be able to duplicate it, and that they're trying to copy it. Jason Aspis said that they're just developing their own replay system, and then that will be ready in February. So PPA is going to have their own close call. I don't know what it's going to look like compared to the one, that Kyle Slinko came up with. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I'm on Instagram, and somehow I previewed the questions earlier, and there was at least 20 to 30 of them, and they all just disappeared. So
that's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Maybe that's better.
There were.
Maybe we'll do a massive mailbag later this week.
Yeah, we'll probably do that. We'll get to them.
Maybe we could do a mailbag segment on the newsletter where we answer them on the newsletter.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Jimmy?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. If you made it this far, please do us a big favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us grow and pushes this content out to new audiences. With the SoCal tournament being canceled, there's kind of a nice little break.
Another one, yeah.
2-3 weeks or so.
Yeah, another little break before you're fully going. Tucson after that.
Well, Australia,
yes.
But they are lacking in terms of signups, it appears.
Have you, the amateur side is
I think everything is very low at
Allegedly,
the moment.
Kyrgios was going to play, and then now he's not.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Tucson?
I have, yeah.
Yikes.
What do you have to say about Tucson?
Oh, well, wait till it's Tucson week. I got lots to say.
All right. Have a great night, guys.